Hello guys and welcome back to my channel, and it's time for another weekly roundup of what I've watched. Now this week I haven't watched a lot of movies. I seem to have been watching quite a bit of TV, but I will wrestle through as always for you and let you know what's good and what's not. Okay, so we started the week with one I'd been really looking forward to seeing, Koda. Now, I've seen quite a few awesome reviews for this. This is Koda. It stands for Child of Deaf Adults. So, as a Koda, Ruby is the only hearing person in her deaf family. When the family fishing business is threatened, Ruby finds herself torn between pursuing her love of music and her fear of abandoning her parents. So, this is a beautiful movie. It's extremely well acted, it's beautifully set. The characters are all really believable, are all really interesting, unique people. A couple of people actually spoke about this one, but it was actually Florentina. She has a channel called Florentina Viconti. It was her review of this that really made me want to see it. She was very emotional about it and specific parts of the movie. And when the specific part that mainly got to Florentina came on the screen, I really could see, you know, what had touched her so much about that. It was a very powerful, very moving moment. I'm not going to go into detail about anything that happens in the movie, but basically this follows a young girl. Her parents can't hear. They have a fishing business and she is the only person that can translate for them so that they can do business. There's a lot going on. They're sort of maybe being diddled out of a little bit of money. They should be getting some more money. She's the only one really that can have any back and forth interaction with anyone, because most people, as we all know, can't sign. They should teach this in schools. I started learning with my son during lockdown, but this is just a beautiful movie, and it's a coming of age story of a kind, with her being torn between having that loyalty to her parents to help them out, to obviously the business is almost dependent on her, and her biggest joy in life is music and singing. She's got an amazing voice, and there's obviously some irony in that, in the fact that this girl's voice is just absolutely beautiful, but her parents and her brother will never be able to hear her sing. And that's one of the most moving aspects of the movie when you watch it. Thoroughly recommend. If you want something where it's going to be really fast moving, lots of action, if you're a horror fan, thriller fan, and can't appreciate a beautiful movie about real people. Honestly, if I get through one video without a interruption, I will be shocked and stunned. There has been a COVID outbreak at my son's school. He's been to school for 1 day, and already in 3 year groups the kids have all been sent home to isolate, including Isaac. So yeah, fun times guys. So that's Koda. I would thoroughly recommend it. The following, that means this is going to ping just constantly. I'll switch my sound off. The following evening, actually over a couple of evenings, I watched The Chair. This is the new series with Sandra Oh, who I'm a big fan of after seeing her in Grey's Anatomy, which I am addicted to, it has to be said. I've finished it completely. I've watched all the seasons a long time ago, but this is where I first became aware of Sandra Oh. She plays the chair, like the head of the English department in a very prestigious university. She is the first woman, and to my knowledge she is the first person of colour. She has got another woman that works as a teacher under her, who is a woman of colour. There are 3 older people within the department that the dean of the university basically says these guys cost too much and they don't teach enough students. You're going to have to get rid of them. So this is basically about Sandra Oh's character trying to run this English department that is hemorrhaging money, basically. There is issues with another teacher who has had a bereavement, who has gone off the rails a little bit, and that's been going on a bit too long as well. She obviously, diversity, the fact that she wants to represent women and women of colour is a very strong part in this movie, and she basically is having her hands tied behind her back trying to do this. So really it's just a series about this woman struggling to try and run a English department in a university and the tribulations that she encounters along the way. The characters are all really good in this. They're all really well acted, all very believable characters, all very likeable, mostly very likeable characters. Anyone that isn't supposed to be. So if you appreciate good acting and you just want to follow a story of exactly what I just said, then check it out. Again, this won't appeal to everyone, and I will be honest with you, I would not have watched this was it not for the fantastic reviews I've seen it receive. It wouldn't be the sort of thing I would go out of my way to watch. But if enough people that I respect their opinions say to me, this is really good, I will go and make time to watch it. And I did with that, and it is excellent. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. So, the same evening I watched the movie Demonic. Now, this is one that I loved the concept of, absolutely loved the concept. So it says here, it's not a dream, it's not reality. A young woman unleashes terrifying demons when supernatural forces at the root of a decades-old rift between her and her mother are ruthlessly revealed. So the basic concept of this is this woman has had a falling out with her mother many years before. I won't say why. Her mother is in a coma, and the doctors, or should I say scientists slash doctors, have this new innovative technique, and they want to place this girl under, I don't know, unconscious, where she can, what way can I put this? In her unconscious state, she can reach the mother and they can communicate together, they can talk to one another, she can get inside her head, she can find out what's happening. But when she gets in there and finds her mother and talks to her mother, something very dark is going on. The idea behind this was amazing. There were aspects of this I really, really enjoyed. This was, to my knowledge, filmed during lockdown as well. This could have been fantastic. As it is, I did enjoy it. It was okay, it was decent, but it could have been amazing. The main dark force in this, I don't want to say too much, was just, to me, ridiculous and not at all frightening in the way it should have been, which took me out of it completely. I just found it a bit laughable, to be honest with you. I gave it a 2.5 out of 5, but it had the potential, and I had heard really poor reviews from pretty much everyone that watched it, but the concept is something that I really liked, so I give it a go. It's worth a watch. It's not awful. It's interesting, but it could have been done so much better. And we're into September, folks. I mean, honestly. Right, as we know, it's coming up to 9/11. I did speak last week. I had watched a few documentaries. I watched another one. This is a new one that's come onto Netflix, and generally Netflix documentaries tend to be quite decent. This, I think, is a 6-part series. I had complained that previous documentaries I'd watched hadn't gone in depth enough to talk to people, and all the people affected, they just tended to concentrate on a tiny, I thought this is going to be it. I wanted to see a series where they discussed the guys' training, to actually how they managed to train to actually carry out this atrocity, what was behind all that. I wanted to see the whole thing, and this definitely gives you that. But the first episode of this goes into a bit about the day itself, and then after that it starts to go into the history of the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, the politics, how the politics affected the US and Britain came into it. The whole of it, apart from the first episode, is all about the Taliban. There are references to obviously how they started training, and I just personally do not want to watch 5 episodes of a series about the Taliban and their ridiculous notions and giving them a platform to... I just have no time for it. It makes me angry. That's the only way I can put it. I get quite irate. I will watch it as part of a larger story to understand what happened and why it happened and what the feelings were and what went wrong. I didn't feel that did that job very well. I think I watched to halfway through episode 4, and it was like, no, every episode's the same. You're just telling me about the politics behind the Taliban. I know who they are. I know why they were formed. I know what they do. I know these things. You're not telling me how they managed to train, to fly, to do, too much blather about the Taliban. That's my viewpoint. Right, on to the second. I watched Untold, Crimes and Penalties. Yes, okay. I will watch pretty much any documentary that comes on Netflix. This will attest to that. This is about ice hockey and the mafia, in a way, the mob. Neither subject have I any interest in whatsoever. So, they were bad boys of hockey, a team bought by a man with mob ties, run by his 17-year-old son, and with a rep for being as violent as they were good. This is a documentary about a guy that was in the mob and his super spoilt son who used to play hockey. I think he got injured and couldn't play anymore. He just went out there to beat people up, basically, just was a really aggressive, violent little squirt. So his dad decides that he is going to buy a ice hockey team and make his 17-year-old son, who knows nothing about managing, CEO and manager, and he is left to train these guys. So he basically goes out and he finds loads of guys like ex-cons that have been in prison for very violent offences but were once ice hockey players that have been put off teams for violence. He forms his team called the Trashers. The Trashers because his father's front as a business is waste management. So like the logo was like a trash can with a hockey stick. I apologise that these texts, if you can see my screen record, they're going to keep coming up. I do apologise. Parents are wondering what's happening with this isolating. And I could be professional and do something and get rid of it and stuff, but it's me. It's my channel. This is just me and you. This is me. So they form this ice hockey team, and basically it is what it sounds like. They just go out there and beat the crap out of each other. One of the lads, the one that was in prison, actually gets a broken leg and he is told he will never play again, but they allow him in a later match to come on the pitch, not to play, just to beat blue blazes out of the guy that broke his leg. And they have a whole squad that follow them everywhere, and it's basically just about that and about what sort of things the father was getting away with. And you know, they were giving these guys money to go out and hurt people on the pit. Is it the pitch? The rink. It's quite an interesting documentary actually. For someone that's got no interest in the mob or ice hockey, I thought it was very interesting, and I give it a 3 out of 5. Honestly, can you stop? Don't know what time results will be back. Teachers giving a deep clean. Okay, and finally, the last one I've got written there, I have watched more, which I will update you with, The Boss Baby Family Business. Boss Baby, my son wanted to see it. I thought it was alright, but my son preferred it to the first one. I don't know if that's anything to go on. My son liked Space Jam Legacy, so that says everything to me that you need to know. He would like most things that you put on. I think it was alright. If you've got kids, it's worth a watch. The animation's nice, and you know, all the voices that we recognise and know are back. So yeah, watch it if you're into that sort of thing and you've got kids. So what also I have been watching on my little piece of paper, one of them, oh, I wish I had my fancy dress outfit. I was going to find it and put it on for you, but I can't find it, so I can't. Money Heist, guys. Money Heist season 5 is on Netflix. If you don't know what Money Heist is, it is a Spanish series about a load of thieves. I don't want to say any more. It is amazing. If you haven't seen it, you're in for a treat. Start to watch it. Season 5, or as they call it, part 5, has just been released on Netflix. We binged it immediately. They are doing that part 6 comes back, or maybe it's other parts of part 5 comes at the end of the year, I think. Christmas. Absolutely amazing characters that just so well rounded, so fully developed, so complex. The plans these guys go through to carry out the heists that they do are just amazing. It's so well thought out, so intelligent, so much action. Like it's like a thriller, it's like a drama. There's relationships. It's just fantastic. If you have not seen Money Heist, guys, give it a go. It is Spanish, so it is subtitled. One of the most beautiful languages in the world. I adore Spanish. So yeah, Money Heist. Love it, guys. I can't recommend that series enough. Obviously, I can't log it on my Letterboxd. Monster in the Shadows. This is a true crime documentary that keeps getting recommended on true crime sites that I'm on. I don't know why, because it was not very good. It's a documentary about a young girl that goes missing in the US, and they find implications of there being a paedophile sex ring within her family. They concentrate a lot on that and not at all on the fact that she's gone missing, where she went, what happened. None of that's discussed, and that's the side of things I was interested in. but they wanted to talk about relationships between this aunt and this cousin and this mother, and this person did this and this person didn't, and it wasn't what I switched on to watch. I struggle, I have to be honest with you, I struggle watching things about paedophiles. Again, maybe I'm just getting angrier in my old age. I can't be dealing with it. I cannot, it just upsets me on a level. I can't be dealing with it at all. So I personally, I didn't even feel it was well done as a documentary. It was dull. I was bored. And when you're talking about really heinous things and horrible people and you manage to make it boring, no. So I would not recommend Monster in the Shadows personally. Last thing I've got written down here is Only Murders in the Building. Now it's one of those things, a lot of times I won't watch a series until it's all available to binge all at once, and this has only 3 episodes available at the moment for us to watch. Now I do know some people have had, I think Sean from Lost in the Rail has seen it in its entirety. He obviously got the screener, the preview for it, and he thoroughly recommended it, hence I wanted to see it. It's got Steve Martin, who I haven't seen for years, is it Selena Gomez? And Martin Short, and they are 3 true crime aficionados. They're addicted to podcasts, they're a bit like myself, and they are brought together because there is a murder happens in the building that they all live in, and they are trying to solve this murder and what happened of this guy that no one seems to like, but there's a lot more going on behind the scenes, and you get to see the 2 sides of things that perhaps all of the characters aren't aware of. Really well acted, really quite dry, dark humour as well. It's funny, and you wouldn't think I'd be saying it's funny, but it is. As I say, at the minute there are only 3 episodes released on Hulu. I think it's a 10-part series. I cannot wait to see the rest. I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, that is Only Murders in the Building. So that is what I've been watching this week, folks. I still want to go see Reminiscence. Not hearing the best reviews. Night House is the one that I really want to go see. But we're isolating again. We were isolating 2 weeks ago, then last week we all had norovirus, and now we're isolating again. Honestly, I don't know what's going on, so it'll be a few days at least before I'll be anywhere near the cinema. So yeah, with that said guys, thank you for watching, and I look forward to speaking to you next week for another What I Watched. Over and out from Lisa Loves.